So much for unbiased reporting.
Really, in the weeks that followed the election, incredibly competitive, like within a point of each other. I think you had them for a while. Following the throne speech and the delivery of the throne speech by the king and Parliament resuming, the Conservatives lost, quite a bit of ground.
Yeah, they're now 10 points back, which is kind of the worst showing that they've had before Justin Trudeau blew up. And, even Pierre Poilievre's personal numbers, he's now 25 points behind Mark Carney. The fact of the matter is that the Liberals under Mark Carney have left thin gruel for Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives. So now the Liberals are talking about building pipelines, including oil and liquefied natural gas. They're talking about defense spending. Oh, and why don't you just throw in bringing the king over? And,
border security.
And, all those types of things. So what's left for the Conservatives to talk about? What, social issues, right? Like it's, so.
What's left for the Conservatives to talk about? I don't know. Maybe the multiple bills the Liberals want to pass. Maybe the fact that they still haven't tabled a budget, and after a majority of the House demanded to do so, the Liberals ignored it. I'm starting to question if this guy actually watches anything House of Commons related, because you would understand that the official opposition has a job in Parliament, and that has been on display for the past 3 weeks.
Big surprise that their numbers are down, that Pierre Poilievre, and for Pierre Poilievre, where is he? He was one and is one of the most effective parliamentarians. He's scrappy, he's effective, he's targeted in what he does, but it's like, I think he's probably just recovering from the personal loss of his seat. He's got to get back in the game, because if he doesn't get back in the game, the longer that he's not back in the game, and the longer that Andrew Scheer, why don't we just say, and it might be unfair, another defeated Conservative leader, like that's who the Conservatives are. Oh, our leader lost their seat. Oh, let's put another Conservative defeated leader to represent our party.
Well, he's not a threat in that way, right? I think that was part of the motivation.
I know, but the optics, come on.
At this point, it's a race between the CBC and CTV. Which one is more biased? Because I feel like it's neck and neck at this point. And just because they have made all these promises, we still have not seen anything actually be set in motion. We're still waiting. This analyst is acting like they're already working on a pipeline as we speak. That's just not the case. Carney claimed he was the man to stand up to Donald Trump, and we still don't have a deal with the United States.
The fact of the matter is Pierre Poilievre has to re-engage. He is a parliamentary asset. The Conservatives have to get him back into the House of Commons, but they have to figure out how are they going to be different from Mark Carney, and how are they going to carve out their own space, and that's going to be the toughest part.
He's waiting for the by-election. He can't just walk into the House, grab a random seat, and say, hey, Mr. Speaker, what's up?
I'll have to carve out 30 seconds for each of Scott and Lisa to just weigh in on that, because it is as Sunday Strats as it gets. Scott, you first, and then Lisa.
Well, one thing that I have to be careful about, and one thing that Pierre Poilievre should be very, very concerned with, is if you can't find much room left in the center, don't gladly, voluntarily leap to the extreme. And what we heard from him this week, the stridency on immigration, sounded to me like a real mistake. You want to stay with where public opinion is at. He seemed to me like he was moving to the margins. That's an unwise move.
Lisa, last word to you.
It's a long time to the next election. I think we can agree on that. And as a result, there's a lot of time in there for people to see whether or not the Carney government can execute on the promises that they're making, and they can build the pipelines that need to be built. In the meantime, Andrew Scheer is the right choice, I have to say. He is an effective communicator, quite frankly, and he's a company man. So it is the right person to put in a temporary base if that's what the leader plans on doing and running in the next by-election that comes up.
Okay, I got to leave it on
Which
that.
Which company is that? We lost ink.
They sit there and wonder why the Conservative ballot support has gone down, but consistently bash the Conservatives while pushing Liberals up on a pedestal. Andrew Scheer and Pierre Poilievre may have lost their elections, but at least they didn't lead a government into total collapse that not only the Prime Minister resigned, but his right-hand man also resigned. Anyway, I'd like to know what you think down in the comments section below. Hit that like button, hit that sub button if you are new, and thank you very much for watching.